Hi everybody, it's Lori Wetzel here with the next installment of Tech Tip Tuesdays. And this week I'm going to share with you a resource called Infuse Learning. The website www.infuselearning.com is where you're going to start. And this is not app-based, but it does work on the iPad. As a teacher, you're going to go to www.infuselearning.com. You're going to go and create a teacher login, which I have already done, and I'm going to go ahead and click on Connect. I'm going to just basically give you an overview of what some of the features are that Infuse Learning has to offer, but it is essentially a student response system. And I'm not saying use it in place of Socrative because Socrative has some features that Infuse Learning doesn't and vice versa. So there's no one perfect tool, but this is certainly just another one to add to the toolbox. You can, of course, ask on-the-fly questions. You have the option of the true, false, the multiple choice, the sort and order. Make sure you click on these icons right here to get all of the features that are available. Your true, false can include a don't know or not. It's up to you. By tapping on this, you can determine whether or not it's going to be letters or numbers that are your choices. You also have the option for single response or multiple response. With your sort and order, you have the choice between letters and numbers. You have your open-ended text answers, very much like Socrative or active expressions. You have your numeric and Likert scale questions. This draw response is a little bit different. This draw response is something that actually allows your students to draw an answer. I'm going to demonstrate it real quickly. I am going to show you my iPad here, and the students, I happen to, in the upper right hand corner here of my iPad, I've got a folder called Student Response Systems. I have a shortcut to the Infuse Learning teacher site right here, and I have a shortcut to the Infuse Learning student site as well. So in order for the students to get to the site, they're going to go to student.infuselearning.com. The interface is going to look very similar in that it asks for a room ID. When I go back to my Infuse Learning website, I see my room number here, 65807. I am going to go ahead and type that in, and my name, and your students will do the same. Tap on Submit. And in doing that, it will tell the student that the connection was successful and it's waiting for activity in the room. The iPad is waiting for activity. I'm going to go back to my web browser and I'm going to tap on Draw Response. And this is something like if you had asked the students to, for example, draw the cursive letter F to make sure that they understood how to do that. I'm going to switch over to the iPad and take a look at what the students now see. They see a drawing interface. They can change the colors, they can change the width of their drawing, and there's plenty of options there to play around with. Nothing real fancy. If I want the students to demonstrate to me how to draw the cursive letter F, for instance, I'm going to just tap on my writing tool and draw my cursive letter F. And this icon right here is what allows me to send this to the teacher. So it has submitted it to the teacher, and if I go back to my web-based and I tap on images, it shows me the image that that student has submitted. The teacher can then save those results. It saves it as a PDF, and if you wanted to do some formal assessment with it, you could. But the drawing is kind of a neat way for kids to submit answers. If you don't want to wait for the students to type out a response, they could write out their response and send it to you that way. That's one difference between Infuse Learning and Socrative. I'm going to tap on the Home button. There are a couple of interactive tools that will push content to the students. Infuse Draw is one of them. When I tap on Infuse Draw, I get the same interface that the students see when I ask them to draw a picture. But here's the advantage. I can tap on No Files Selected and add a file. So for instance, a coordinate plane. It has to be a JPEG or a PNG or some sort of picture file. It can't be a PDF. I'm going to tap on Choose and it uploads the file to my desktop. I can now tap on Ask and I can ask them and push this image to them and ask them to answer a question using this picture. You can see now my status here. I'm going to minimize, and here's my student iPad. And perhaps you're dealing with just graphing points on the coordinate plane, and you want the students to identify, the point 3, 2. The students can, again, select their pen tool, go over 3, up 2, put their dot there, and maybe point to it. They can push their answer to you. I'm going to go back over, go to my images, and you can see if the students are understanding the idea. And obviously those are very simple ideas, but I'm sure you can think of other ways that you would use that with your students. I'm going to go back to the home button. Right now, the iPad is telling me that it is waiting for activity in the room. There's something called Infuse Link. An Infuse Link is kind of interesting because it will push a website out to a device. If I, for instance, want the students to go to a website, I'm just going to use www.abc.com, and I click on send and go over to my iPad, it's telling the students to click me. And as soon as I click on click me, it's going to open a new window and take the students to the website that you want them to go to. And I thought that might be a neat feature if, for instance, you decided you wanted all the kids to go to a particular website and you forgot to include it on your personal website for an easy link. Great way to send them to a website that way. I'm going to go ahead and close that window and go back to web-based Infuse Learning. I'm going to skip quiz management for just a moment and skip down to class setup. Kind of like active expressions, you do have the ability to set up classes and students. I'll be honest, I haven't done that so much, haven't given that a try, but you're welcome to try that. When it comes to quiz management, there's some advantages and disadvantages. You, of course, can create your own quizzes. Here's the disadvantage. You only have the option to do student-paced. So if you want a teacher-paced quiz that you want to give in class, you definitely want to stick to Socrative. However, with the quiz manager in Infuse Learning, the cool piece here is that you can, when I edit my quiz, you can shuffle the questions so that different students are seeing different questions at different times. You have a bad word filter, and you can choose to tell the students if they got the right answer or not. When I add a question, kind of cool, you have the option to upload an image. And that's kind of a real strength, I thought, as opposed to Socrative. I'm going to go back home. I'm going to go to my quizzes once again. And if I wanted to do this quiz with my students, I would tap on this button that says Run Quiz. I'm going to go over to my iPad. The kids just tap on Begin Quiz, and they see the picture, and you'll notice the items here along the bottom. You have audio and language. If the students have a difficult time reading the content, they can tap on those and it will actually read the content to them. One advantage to Infuse Learning here is that the students can submit their answer, and if they want to go back and change their answer, they can before actually submitting the entire quiz, which I'm going to do now. And I had it tell them how they did on the quiz. It actually gave them the results. You can adjust that as you wish. As the teacher, you see their progress through the quiz, and you can end the quiz and get the results in very much the same way you can with Socrative. It can download an Excel file for you, or you can have it emailed to yourself. I'm going to go back home one more time and go over to Preferences. I wanted to point this area out because of the audio features and the translation features. If you're a world languages teacher, translating it into Spanish or French might be fabulous. But if you're not, the students might use the translation feature in inappropriate ways, so you actually can turn the translation feature off. You can also turn the audio feature off if you wish. Hopefully you can see how this tool might be useful with your students. Again, it doesn't replace Socrative. It has features that Socrative doesn't and vice versa, but it is an option for using a student response system with your classroom. And again, remember, this is not an app. This is all web-based. So when the students are using it, they would go to student.infuselearning.com, and you might have them add a shortcut right to their iPad to help them get to it quickly. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Have a great day.